How's everyone doing today? It's your boy JG Domination, and today we're going to be doing a video inspired by TPS Sports. If you guys have not heard of them, go subscribe to their channel. They're always doing some cool sports videos, mainly about the NFL, but they sprinkle in some hockey, baseball, and basketball or whatever. But anyway, the video had to do with the 12 NFL teams that have not won a Super Bowl, and they were talking about the teams, who are, most likely to win one sooner than others, just overall. And I'm going to take that video idea, I know, right? Me taking a video idea, and we are going to be putting our own spin on it, instead of trying to figure out, well, who's going to win the Super Bowl soonest and who's basically going to be the last franchise to win a Super Bowl. What we're going to be doing is ranking all 12 non-Super Bowl winning teams from 12 to 1, and basically we're going to be talking about those 12 teams and who has the best odds of winning this year's Super Bowl. So we're not going to be focusing on from now until like 2078. We're going to be talking about strictly this season, who has the best odds to do so, from number 12 to number 1. So 12 being, yeah, it ain't happening, to number 1 being, well, you got a good shot. You definitely could be the team to do it. So this is just my opinion. There's no certain criteria. This is just me and my opinion. So if you feel like your favorite team is too low, like in the 12 to 6 area, if you think they're too low, let me hear it in the comment section. If you think another team is too high and it should be reshuffled, let me know down below. I understand these videos can be a little bit hard to break down certain criteria. So number 12, we have the Arizona Cardinals. They are basically retooling this entire team. They got a lot of young guys in here. They got some veterans who could play now. So this is a team who I think they're trying to redirect their focus right now. And it's going to be a rebuilding offense with some veterans on the defensive side of the football. I just think they are a ways away from winning a Super Bowl. I don't think they're there yet. It may take 5 years for them to really get to where they want to be. But as of right now, I don't know. I don't think they're even close. Not me being harsh, it's just reality. Number 11, not the Bills, not the Bears, excuse me, the Bengals. The Bengals are going to be number 11, similar to the Cardinals. They are basically redirecting the, identity of the team. A new coach is in there. You still have Andy Dalton. Is he even the future of your team, or are you going to move on from him? You also got a nice, collection of talent on this team. You look at Joe Mixon. Geno Atkins is still playing at a high level. AJ Green, we want to see him bounce back. You got guys like William Jackson, Carl Lawson, Tyler Boyd, Jesse Bates. You just keep going down and you'll find some guys who are very talented on this team, but the Cincinnati Bengals for me are number 11. Number 10, and this, you could argue is a little bit too low for this team. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, they have a great defense. They did take a step down last season. I expect them to take a step up personally. I'm just not the biggest believer in Nick Foles outside of Philadelphia. We've kind of seen it before when he was on the Rams and he contemplated retiring from football and never playing again, and then we saw him as a backup for Kansas City and he was nothing special there either. So Jacksonville, who's put all their eggs in one basket, paying this guy $88 million over the next 4 seasons, there's a lot of pressure on him to be the Nick Foles that won the Super Bowl. And I don't know if that's what Jacksonville is going to be getting. It depends on how Nick Foles plays this season. So if they don't win a Super Bowl and we have to revisit this list next season, maybe if Nick Foles performs well, I'll move the Jacksonville Jaguars a lot higher from number 10. But for now, I just don't know. Number 9 for me, the Buffalo Bills. The fact that this team had went to 4 straight Super Bowls and hasn't won one, I mean, that's got to be worse than the Falcons' 28-3, lead being blown. To me, going to 4 straight Super Bowls and not winning, like, how do you do that? How do you do that, Buffalo? You want to explain? How exactly do you do that? But this is a team who, they're a sneaky team on the rise, in my opinion. I don't want to say they're underrated, because a lot of people are starting to hop on that bandwagon of, oh, they're underrated, which is going to start to slowly make them an overrated team. But this is a team who I think definitely could be, around 7 to 9 wins, potentially. Maybe there's 6 wins, I don't know. But this team has a higher ceiling than most. I think Buffalo could be sneaky good. I put them at number 9. Number 8, I got to go with a team that was just in the Super Bowl a few years ago, the Carolina Panthers. It's really going to depend on Cam Newton's health. You know, they're also in a tough division, so it's not going to be easy, but definitely going to be interesting to see what Carolina looks like this season. I thought they had a really good draft, so I want to see how their rookies play and who gets like more playing time and all that. Number 6 on my list. Wait, no. Number 7 on my list, excuse me. Number 7, the Detroit Lions. Last time I made a video about the Detroit Lions, it was one of my most watched videos in a long time, and it got a lot of buzz and a lot of comments compared to a lot of my other videos. A lot of people disagreed with my takes on the Detroit Lions. You know, that's fine, that's whatever. I expect Lions fans to not agree with everything I say, and that's fine. You know, I'm a Packer fan. It kind of taints it a little bit in their eyes. But listen, the reality is Detroit actually has a really good roster. They're deep on the defensive line. Their linebacking core, question marks. Their secondary is better than most, which is a good thing. And regardless of my thoughts about Matthew Stafford, I think there's a lot of good talent around him. And they're in a tough division, but you know, there's still a chance that they could win a Super Bowl. I like the direction this team is heading in. That's why I have them at number 7. Pretty simple. Just giving them a nod. Number 6, we got the Houston Texans. Where are they at? Right here. We got the Houston Texans. Now, if they can get an offensive line to protect Deshaun Watson, they would be higher than 6. And to tell you the truth, for a team that lost a lot of players in the secondary, I thought they did a good job in, you know, trying their best to cover things up and improve things. And of course, they got Mr. 99 overall, who on this roster isn't, DeAndre Hopkins, which is cool to see. Not that that's going to play a factor in, you know, on-field production, but Houston, to me, definitely gets the nod. I think all the pieces are there. They just need a better offensive line. And I wish they would go and get a running back. I'm not a huge fan of Lamar Miller. Let's see. Number 5, we got the Minnesota Vikings. I'm sorry, I was scrolling through. Yeah, we got the Minnesota Vikings. Unpopular opinion, I actually like Kirk Cousins. I don't think he's as terrible as people make him out to be. I actually think he's a solid quarterback in this league. I still think he's average, but, you know, he's probably the best average quarterback in the NFL, if that makes sense. This team has a lot of talent, but the ceiling is definitely, you know, been reached in terms of a lot of these players on the roster, like Harrison Smith, Adam Thielen. I think they've reached their ceilings. Everson Griffin, Xavier Rhodes, Linval Joseph, Kyle Rudolph. I mean, we kind of know who they are. They're not going to get any better. We kind of know who they are. If they somehow surprise me and get better, I'll give them credit. But at number 5, it's a pretty good ranking. You know, you still got the Packers, you know, and the Bears to worry about in that division, and the Lions, who we just talked about. Not going to be easy sledding. At number 4, we got the Tennessee Titans. I am a believer in the Tennessee Titans and their roster. It's just Marcus Mariota, man. He is inconsistent as all hell. What's funny is, you know, Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota were in the quarterback class together in 2015. People bash Jameis Winston more than Mariota, which I can kind of understand, but I think they're both underwhelming quarterbacks. It is what it is, man. But this roster is very talented. They're missing like a little bit of star power to put them over the top, but they got a lot of depth. They got guys that can play, and sometimes that's all that matters, man. Number 3, the Cleveland Browns, man. A lot of people, this is like their favorite team to win the Super Bowl. I think we're all just cheering for a good comeback story. And yes, they do have one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. But the NFL is not a talent show. It's a results league. And you got to get those results. You got to win those close games that you lost last season. And maybe they'll be able to do that this season. We'll see what Freddie Kitchens does as a first-year coach full-time. But this Cleveland Browns roster definitely has the potential to win a Super Bowl. That's why they're being talked about in high regard. Number 2, Falcons fans, rise up, baby. I know you've been waiting to hear your team get called. Number 2 on my list, I'm not a Falcons fan, but you know what? I live in Georgia, so they got a little bit of my support. The Falcons, I got y'all on here at number 2. At full strength, the Falcons are one of the best teams in the NFL. They're still one of the best offenses. Their defense, I mean, this is my only negative comment on the Falcons. Honestly, this is probably one of the very few negative things I could say about this team. For a head coach like Dan Quinn, who is so in tune on defense, they've only had one really good defense, since Dan Quinn has been there. And I know there's been a little bit of shuffling around and redrafting, but if you look at a guy like Mike Pettin for Green Bay, who just had to step into a new situation and retool everything and get all of his guys in there, and kind of a retooling period, the Packers defense was a lot better than it used to be last season. In a transitional year, whereas Dan Quinn, who has been in-house for a long time, 5 years, just about 4 or 5 years, and he's only had one great defense. I mean, makes you question the defensive credibility just a little bit. That's the only negative I have to say about the Falcons, but everybody knows at full strength, this is the team to beat in the division, and that's a strong statement because the Saints are in their division. I would say the Falcons are the team to beat at full strength, though. And number 1, the team with no fan base, no offense, the Los Angeles Chargers. They are one of the most talented rosters on paper. I've been saying it since the offseason. They are one of the most talented teams on paper. And if it wasn't for a botched performance against the New England Patriots, they could have easily been in the Super Bowl. And that is my take on the Los Angeles Chargers. They got all the talent in the world. Yeah, there's a little bit of a distraction going on with Melvin Gordon. That'll get patched out. He's a good running back, top 10. I just made a video on my opinion on the running back position, but he's replaceable. You can move off of him. It's not even that big of a deal. I'm more worried about the defense and the pass catchers on this team. That's about it. Keenan Allen, we know what he can do. Mike Williams, wherever he is, we know what he can do. But my boy Hunter Henry has to stay healthy for this team to really reach its max potential offensively. But that's it, man. I just ranked all 12 teams in terms of the most likely to win a Super Bowl in 2019-2020 NFL season. So let me know down below, do you agree or disagree? What teams would you move around? Who would you shuffle in a different spot? Let me know how you feel about these rankings down below in the comment section. Until next time, peace.